All right, guys, we're gonna get this drive line put back in, get this bad guy pulled into the shop. Got a handful of tools, got our four-wheel drive creeper. This is V10 powered, blew a number 5 spark plug out. Customer said it made a heck of a bang and proceeded to have it towed into the shop here. So wrecker man didn't put the drive shaft back in, but that's all right, we'll take care of it. All right, we got our drive line taken down. The wrecker driver had her zip tied up to the frame, which is good. So I have to wonder how many of you guys that tow cars for a living or trucks go and put your drive line back in after you deliver. I've seen some do it, but most of them don't. That's okay though. All right, we got our drive line put back in. Bolts are Guten tight. Got her bagged and tagged. Oh, forgot a zip tie. Glittering and. Anyway, I'll show you guys here what we have going on. So if I'm not mistaken, very back cylinder, if I remember correctly, is number 5. You can see we broke in our coil pack when the spark plug went full ejecto. You guys will get to kind of listen to this thing. Makes all kinds of racket. Puff, 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 puff. But we'll get her pulled in the shop. All right. Let's see what she's made of. Oh. Yes, sir. All right, now we got her maneuvered into position. We're gonna start and get this doghouse cover out of the way. The O'Reilly's delivery man dropped me off a thread repair kit, ignition coil, spark plug for our V10 in distress. So in the meantime, replaced the digitizer and the radio of this guy. So touchscreen did not work at all before. It is now functional. We're gonna go for a road test and just make sure it doesn't make the tapping noise, you know, like you're touching on the touchscreen, because that was my customer's concern. He actually didn't say anything about the touchscreen being totally inoperative. So we're just gonna make sure that the job is full circle and everything's good. So gonna take this baby on a road test and we'll get back on some V10 action. So what I've done here is applied some grease into the cutting reliefs of our bit here that came with the kit. And that's more or less to catch debris, you know, that's being cut from the cylinder head as it's running down in. So we're gonna put it in. All right, we've started going to town, running our tap down into the cylinder head. Pretty critical deal here. Make sure that you are tapping square into the bore. Some of the kits, I believe, come with like a centering implement of sorts. This one did not. So we just made sure that we dropped down square into it, got a good eyeball on it, and started running her in. So I'm gonna finish doing that, and I'll pull the tap out, and you guys can see all the shavings, you know, that came from the cylinder head having new threads cut into it. All right, just removed our tap, wiped off some of the shavings there. So it's really pretty critical, in my opinion, that if you're going to do this, you put some grease on your tap, you know, so that it drags out those shavings with it. Can't get this thing to focus. There we go, kind of. But anyway, gonna clean that thread bore out now. So we want it to be as clean as possible. We're going to be using some red Loctite with our new thread insert. So need to make sure there's no contaminants that are, you know, going to inhibit the Loctite's ability to hold that insert in. Well, we've got our insert and our plug down there and torqued. So gonna allow this thing to set up overnight so that the Loctite sets up, or at least give it its best opportunity to do so. We'll see what this thing does in the morning. How about it? Well, good morning, guys. It is Friday morning, and our V10 has had the opportunity to set overnight. So we're gonna fire it up and see how it sounds now. Alright, going in here, just gonna clear out our engine fault codes. So it most certainly would have had a miss. I'm just gonna look real quick. Yeah. My goodness. Anyway. Alright, I think we're gonna go for a road test. Well, we went for our road test, was monitoring misfire data, and had an intermittent misfire on number 5. Pulled the O'Reilly's Parts House Special ignition coil out that I installed, put the busted one back in and reconnected it. Misfire no longer occurred. So, duped by the generic parts yet again. Got a new Motorcraft ignition coil on the way, and that should get this man fixed up and back to delivering bread. But just kind of disappointing as far as the aftermarket parts world goes, but nothing new now. Oh, Lord have mercy. We have a leaker. No, not really. Gonna mess with the boat a little bit while we're waiting for parts to show up for the E450. Alright, boys and gals, we're gonna go on a road test with our E450. Wheel return. Yes, sir. Got our Motorcraft ignition coil installed into the mighty V10. got the Varus on duty. Gonna monitor some misfire data. Just make sure we're all good. Seems to be running good. Old V10s, they sure do run smooth. What's up with this thing here? Hey, I like it. Looking mighty fine indeed. So, gonna go ahead, hit the road, and get back, eat some lunch. The missus brought me some lunch, which is really nice. And we'll see what we can get into then. I'll tell you, these V10s make quite an odd sound. They just really have a distinctive note to the exhaust. I don't hate it though. I don't know what I'd relate it to, but I don't hate it. Putting her through her paces anyway. Seems to be running pretty good. Road test is complete. We have no history of any misfires, particularly on number 5. So I would say we are in good shape.